Let me give you a award.
Sure, of course. This is always a problem for me. I need to just, it's way perfect. First of all, I want to say, thank you guys for having me. I'm definitely honored to be here. I want to tell you guys a little bit of story about why a Turkish Muslim guy fighting against anti-Semitism. I remember when I was a little kid, I was 8 years old. I went downstairs to play with my friends. Um, I remember my country was going through some very tough times politically. If you're a politician in my country, in Turkey, unfortunately, the first thing you do, you attack. You attack America and you attack Israel. And unfortunately, the base is so uneducated and they are believing whatever those politicians say. So I remember I was 8 years old. I went downstairs to play with my friends, and what I seen that day really shocked me till this day. My little friends were burning American flags. They were burning Israeli flags, and they were breaking crosses. And when I asked my friends, I'm like, guys, what are you guys doing? They said, well, that's what we see on TV. And I was just very shocked. They actually give me a flag to burn it. And I got so scared, I threw the flag down and I went upstairs to my mom. I was like, Mom, this is what my friends are telling me. American peoples are bad, the Jewish people are evil and all that stuff. What do I do? My mom said, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but do not hate anyone before you meet him. So I give a promise to my mom that day. I was like, whatever happens, I'm not going to hate anyone before you meet with these people. So the 9 years later, I'm 17 years old. I came to America for the first time to play basketball and go to school. Same time. And I remember I landed, I'm so nervous, but same time so excited. I remember sitting down and having a conversation with some of my teammates, and they told me, hey, let's take you to a mosque and let's take you go get some halal food. And I was like, what are they trying to do? I remember going to my first Shabbat for the first time, and I called my Turkish friend who lives in America, and I said, if you don't hear from me for the next 2 hours, call the police. Because think about it, the last 17 years, that's what I've seen from my friends. That's what I've seen in my country. Unfortunately, if you ask some of the people who lives in Middle East, front of classes, in schools, front of classes, they have American flags and they have Israeli flags. And if you're a student, if you don't step on those flags, you're not allowed to attend the classes. And it's that crazy. That's where I grew up in an area like that the last 17 years. I had an amazing night that night. It was one of my best Shabbat dinner that I've ever attended. And I remember later, that week, the Consul General of Boston, invited me to a Holocaust Remembrance Day. And I was like, okay, I just want to come and just hang out, eat some good kosher food, and learn about what happened. I remember sitting down with him and one of the lady, I think she was around 80 years old. She came to me with a wheelchair and she looked at me. She was like, I've never seen a Jew this tall before. I was like, ma'am, you are so sweet, but I'm not Jewish. And she said, what are you? I said, I'm Muslim. And she said, what are you doing here? I was like, well, I'm here to learn. So she started tearing up, right? What I learned that day, I was like, I have to pass this to a next generation. Because what breaks my heart is there are so many young generation in the Middle East are growing up anti-Semitic, anti-West, and anti-American. So I was like, we have to do something to change that because it is so important. So I was like, let's use basketball as a tool to bring people together. So a couple months ago, I organized this basketball camp in Israel. It was in Jerusalem first, and then went to Haifa and Tel Aviv. It was the best trip I've ever taken. We invite kids from all over the world, Muslims, Christians, Jewish people, Druzis. And I remember there was this one Palestinian girl. She didn't want to come to Israel to go basketball. She's a huge basketball fan, but she did not want to come to Israel. Her family was very educated, and her family actually pushed her to go. She said, okay, I promise, I'm just only going to go for 1 hour. She ended up staying for 2 weeks. And then the first week, she actually apologized from everyone, from all of our teammates. She just said, I just didn't know enough about it. But I feel like, with that being said, I believe that we only have one world to live. So we need to leave our differences on the table and try to find what we have in common. So with that being said, thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. This is a beautiful event, and I'm here to learn, not to speak, but I'm here to learn. Mayors and ambassadors and everybody, thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.